I have to tell you, coming out and going on Survivor, you see the things on TV and you say, oh, okay, that would be difficult and everything. I would never, ever expect for people to have to go through what we've gone through. The living conditions, the brutal living conditions that we've endured are very real. Not eating for 3 days, not a thing for the first 3 days, was absolutely real. Not having anything to drink, sleeping just out in the elements, bugs and everything, it is very real and it's very, very difficult. And I just remember being out there and just thinking to myself, man, I don't know that I would, if someone were to offer me exactly $10,000 to endure 24 hours of this, I don't know that I would take it. I mean, it was beyond brutal out there. The first 3 days, I remember feeling after the first 3 days that I would not want a Navy SEAL in training to have to go through what we went through on those first 3 days. It was just brutal. I came on Survivor for one thing, and that was to win $1 million. Going out there for 24 days and going home empty-handed is extremely frustrating. Yes, it was a tough situation, and yes, it's something I'll have for the rest of my life. I spent 24 days out there, one of the most trying and difficult times in my life. Do I feel like, hey, I'm glad I did it? No, I'm not glad I went and spent 24 days out and am going home empty-handed. I'm glad that I went and took an investment into being 1 in 16 people that could have made $1 million, because that was worthwhile. Going home empty-handed after 24 days is not, it's not a cool feeling, and it's very frustrating. Am I glad of the overall experience? Well, I'm going to try and make the best of the situation. I'm not happy about it. Was it worth it because I could have gotten $1 million? Yes, it was worth it. My being a little bit obnoxious and complaining and bitching and doing all that stuff was definitely part of my strategy. Sometimes, certainly in real life, I might be like that, but not exaggerated to that point. Being that we're playing for $1 million out here, sometimes I almost find situations laughable where it seems like strategy is taking second place to who I want to have around me or who my friends are. And I think John Hu was a perfect example of what I'm talking about. They sent Chicken home because they weren't comfortable with him around the first couple of days. Then they sent Ashley home, who was probably their strongest girl. Then after that, Dave was annoying them, so they sent Dave home, and he was their biggest workhorse. Admittedly, he did 2 or 3 times more work than anybody else on the camp. I mean, they just completely sabotaged their own camp. My life back home is... I often joke with friends about how I live basically the life of a millionaire. Broke and living like a millionaire. That's basically the way that I live. I mean, sometimes I have money and sometimes I'm broke, but somehow I always live the lifestyle of a millionaire. I mean, the nicest hotels in the world, just going, traveling all over the world, staying in these beautiful hotels, eating steaks and lobster and crab for dinner every night, and it is really cool, some of the things I'm able to do. Coming here, and I remember the first grains of rice that we had after 3 days, and I remember just like shuffling around, just trying to get every grain and thoroughly enjoying food of any kind. I believe that when I get back home, I'm going to savor every bite. Going through this kind of adversity, I would say the thing that I learned most about myself is that I'm actually capable of doing a lot more than I thought I was. You know, this was the toughest thing I've ever had to go through in my life, and I was able to get through it, and I'm reasonably healthy right now. Yeah, I've lost a few pounds. I've lost a lot of pounds. But, you know, that was very, very trying, and I got through it. It's emotionally draining, it's physically draining, and you know, did I come out a better person, a stronger person? I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so.